California, here we come, warrior. I want you to listen up and I want you to listen good. We have to talk about California because I'm based here in New York. California, New York, California are both considered states that are leading states in our country. What happens here in New York, what happens in California, usually lays the groundwork what's happening for other states around our great country. But let me tell you about California. There's a wonderful Senator, Shannon Grove. She is completely in for doing everything in her power to help children, to help families. She has two of the most important bills right now, Senate Bill 1414 and Senate Bill 1043. Now, let me explain about these two bills and why I want to bring them to your attention, because you know what? I'm a little bit up in arms today about what's going on, and I'm going to throw my full support behind Senator Shannon Grove because she's the kind of woman we need in our state senates, our legislatures, our Congress, our everything. So let's talk about Senate Bill 1414. California wants 16 and 17-year-olds who are solicited for sex, engaged in sex, sex trafficking. They want these horrific monsters who solicit them, who buy them, who trick them. They want this to be called a misdemeanor. Now, Senator Shannon Grove, Senate Bill 1414, she clearly presented, and everybody was behind it, that anything with a child, despite their age, right? Despite their age, should be a felony. And we totally agree here at the Warriors. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but doesn't it seem anything against our precious children should be a felony? Well, one person, and I'm going to have all of this in the body of the video so you can read the bill yourself, actually dissect it, take your time and think about it, because it's unbelievable. One person went against all 36 of them and said, nope. We think 16 and 17-year-olds, this should be a misdemeanor. Concessions were made. You might want to call them amendments on the bill. A couple of other things, and the bill was put through. Well, Senator Shannon Grove will be going back to the drawing board to try to get these amendments reversed. Why, after all, 16 and 17-year-olds bought for sex, really, there's not much of a difference between a 14 and a 15-year-old. I think you'd agree with me. Then we have a Senate Bill 1043. Now, Paris Hilton, yes, that Paris Hilton, is throwing her weight behind this bill. And let me point out that both of these bills are bipartisan. I think you know what that means by now, belonging to no political party. Both sides are involved, Democrats and Republicans. It is for the good of our kids. Now, Paris is very concerned and wants to be part of this Senate Bill 1043 and just testified recently in front of our Congress because she states as a youth, she was ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night in the dark and brought to one of these youth farms, facilities, these ranches we have across the country. And there has been so many cases of documented abuse. Why recently we just learned of a boy, and you know what? Media just really didn't cover it. I found this story buried. He was, again, considered a troubled teen, and he was ripped away. And I'm going to put this story in the body of the video as well, because I want you to really understand and drive it home what's happening here. His first night there, within 24 hours, he was crying, he was screaming, at least counselors have reported this. He said he had anxiety, he couldn't breathe. Lo and behold, next morning, didn't come out of his locked up tent. Yes, locked up tent. And he was found dead. So this is under investigation, but I haven't heard anything more about it, just that this happened. So I'll be following up on that story. But Paris Hilton wants everybody to know the inhumane treatment, not only that she received, she's talking about, she feels very lucky she came out of this. Paris is now in her early 40s. So you can see this behavior with these ranches and child youth rehabilitation centers. It's been going on for decades. She and Senator Shannon Grove want full transparency with Senate Bill 1043. And they repeat it. Paris was telling, and in the last couple of years, she has been speaking out about this, just the treatment, whether it's verbal, psychological, medical damage. So a parent might actually really be at their wits' end, cannot control their child, cannot deal perhaps drugs, drinking, and think that one of these places that I'm sure look pretty good in the brochures and look good online, right? I'm helping my child. I'm helping my child. And they naively send their child there. There are so many stories of the abuse children have endured and come out worse for the wear. So look, if Paris Hilton is getting behind this, I say good. Good for Paris, good for Senator Shannon Grove, good for all of us, because we need to raise our voices, keep speaking up and out. But I leave you with this thought. California, they have so many issues that we have to collectively across the United States talk about, because they still allow child brides. Child brides. Technically in California, there is no floor for an age of an adult man marrying a child. That could be a newborn baby if one of the parents signs that baby over. Now, Warrior, I don't know what that sounds like to you, but to me, that sounds like human trafficking. So when we talk about the issues of child brides, we have to think in terms of what's going on behind the scenes. And a lot of this is happening in California. So, for instance, they want 16 and 17-year-olds to be considered, I guess, adults that are raped. Warning for the show, I should have put it out earlier, but let's be real here. That's a misdemeanor. And they want child brides, when I just explained to you, a newborn baby could be married to an adult man, technically, and that's considered your wife. And now we have transparency in these youth rehabilitation ranches that are in California and also across our country. We have a lot of issues to talk about. I want to ask you to please, and again, I'm going to put all the information in the body of this video. It's very important that you, no matter where you live in the United States, know what is happening in California and also in New York State, my home state, because we are considered, these two states, leader states. So it's in your best interest to know what's happening here, because if it's happening here, it's coming to your state soon. We got to keep an eye on all of this. I will also throw into the mix that I had a wonderful discussion today with Rachel Moran. And she is a wonderful advocate from Ireland who talks about the Nordic model, which here in the States we call the equality model, and why we actually cannot decriminalize the sex trade. Why? Because you'll have a brothel on every corner. Forget about the pot shops we have on every corner in New York and across our country and strip malls. You will have, and actually every town I've been going to across the United States, I'm seeing these pot shops all over the place. You will have a brothel. You know the demand is for children. Rachel has written a wonderful, is actually touted as mandatory reading in a lot of syllabuses for academia across the world. Her autobiography, she did it all on her own. No agents, no publishing houses, called Paid For. Her journey through prostitution, through drugs in Dublin. And it's a very important read because we came together because we are both in shock that the Special Rapporteur Reem Assalem at the UN recently announced it's a shocking reversal to what the UN, United Nations, usually says, that sex workers, those are the words they're always using. And we don't use those words. And Rachel and I discuss this wonderful new report and presentation by the Special Rapporteur who says prostitution is violence. So that interview will be coming shortly up on the channel. In the meantime, you're going to be listening to this. You're going to be watching and listening all of the other ones. I need you to subscribe. Community Creates Change is our hashtag at The Warriors. We're doing great, so I thank all of you out there who have subscribed, who are putting questions, who are adding comments. Remember, you can always write to me, lynn@lynswarriors.org, if you have any questions. And I want to thank you for the donations, for the volunteering, for your suggestions, ideas. Keep them coming, because together we are building our warrior community. I'll have so much information in the body of this video. I want you to read it. I want you to share it. with your friends, with your family, whatever you want to do. Because remember, it's up to us. There's nobody else really out there helping us. But you know who is trying very hard, and kudos to her? Senator Shannon Grove. So let's give her a big round of applause out in California fighting for children and families. Remember, community creates change. Hug and kiss your kids today, grandkids, whatever your family unit is. And each and every day, go out and be a warrior.